These are the 20 books that I want to read during the month of February, and we have lots of romance, obviously, because you guys know that I love romance. We have a few thrillers, and we also have lots of diverse reads and contemporary fiction and historical fiction. So if you guys love getting lots of book recs that are like really unique, books you probably haven't seen before, then definitely subscribe, because there's some books in here that only have like 180 reviews on Goodreads. So we're gonna go through all of the books on my February TBR, and I hope you guys enjoy. We're gonna start with thrillers because it's like one of the smaller stacks, and then we'll get into romance and then historical fiction and contemporary fiction. That I think will be the order. So I picked up 3 thrillers to add to my February TBR. The first one is The One by John Mars. I have been wanting to read something by this author for so long. I've put his books on my TBR many times and I have never gotten to them. I don't know why, because I've heard so many people say that this author's books are really good. This is about like a DNA test that I think people can take, and they have this like app. It's called Match Your DNA, and they'll match you with your soulmate. I'm pretty sure that's the premise. I kind of like to go into thrillers pretty blind, but I think that that's like the premise on the back. The next thriller that I want to read is I cannot speak. None Left to Tell. I was like, is that no one? Is that none? Y'all, we're just starting this like little review. So I don't know why I'm already mixing words up, but I am really excited to read this one. I read Grey After Dark and it was my top thriller of 2024, and so I feel like I will really enjoy this one. It says it's about 3 women connected by one of the most brutal mass slayings in US history. I think that they like get away or something, and then the person who like murdered a bunch of people, I think, comes back. I think. I don't know. I genuinely like to go into thrillers pretty blind, so I'm not gonna even read the back. But if you like fast-paced thrillers that are like really easy to read but also have like a really good plot, you have to pick up a book by this author. Again, Grey After Dark was my top thriller of 2024. And then I also want to read Dark Matter. I absolutely love Khalilah's videos, and she shared that she read this book and was obsessed with it, like literally fell in love with it. I think she rated it 5 stars. So I wanted to pick it up. I don't even remember exactly what it's about, which is fine, because thrillers, to me, I just like going into really blind. Like, thrillers are supposed to be thrilling, and how am I supposed to be thrilled if it's not like just, you know, things popping out left and right? And this, I know, is a thriller and a sci-fi. It's like a mix between the two. So really excited to read this one. I will give more of like a synopsis with the other books that I go through, but I do like to keep thrillers pretty, I like to go into them pretty blind. So I have a large stack of romance. This is huge. Like, look at all these romances. But I mean, it's February. It's like we're in the month of love. Like, we're going into all the cutesy, like all the feels. You know, I just want to read romance. Not that I don't normally like read romance anyway, but this month in particular, it's like it's the month of love. I'm like reading tons of romance. So I have a lot here. The first book I have is Falling by Janisha Boswell. Her writing is so good. I have read 2 of her books already, ate them up, and I feel like if you like a fast-paced read that's like funny, has tension, has really, really cute, unique moments, you'll really love her books. This is the first book in the North University series, and it's like a newer series. The second book comes out, I think, in February. So I want to read this before the second book comes out. She is also a Black author. She's British, and I just love supporting her. It says fake dating the popular hockey player at college is Ren's idea of hell, but it sounds like heaven to Miles. These 2 characters are also like very, very like minimally like included in the second book. In the, I forget what the series is called. The book is called Our Secret Game, but it's there's a series it's called, what is it? I cannot remember the title of the series, but either way, it's the second book in like her other series, and they're mentioned in this, or in it. You do not have to read the other series first. You do not have to read it at all. But it is kind of cool if there's like a little mention. This is a thick one. This is probably the thickest book that I will have read of hers. It's 525 pages. But if you like Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, like, If you like a story, we're gonna get a lot of found family where the other character is gonna be really interesting, you will love her book. She always makes you fall in love with not only the main characters, but also like the side characters. So yeah, excited for this one, and I know that most people love sports romances, so pick this one up. I also want to read Elevator Pitch by Ellen Lay. This has been on my TBR once before. I have not read it, and I have been wanting to read it for so long. You guys know how like nervous I get reading thick books by authors I've never read from before, but I've heard nothing but good things about this book. This is about a girl who has like a list of 10 things that she wants to do. I think she's kind of like, she just gets nervous to do stuff, and like the 10 things on this list are like very daring, like, I don't know, kiss a stranger, like that kind of thing. And she gets this guy named Grayson Park to help her with the list. So that's the premise of the story. I don't know much else, but it looks really good. This is also written by a Black author as well. Honestly, I think that all but 1, 2, 3 of these books in this romance stack are not written by Black authors. I also have 2 urban romances in this stack, which I'm gonna go through right now. The first one is Keva's Dream. This looks really good. It is a book that I know has, I don't want to spoil it. I mean, I guess I don't know anything myself, but I feel like it has the pregnancy trope in it. I don't know why I think that. I have obviously never read it, so it's not like it's a spoiler. I just think that I read the back when I bought it, and I think that it says something about it on the back. I don't really know what this one's about, and I'm gonna kind of keep it that way. I feel like novellas, again, are books that you don't really need to know much about. This one's only 245 pages. Whiskey River by Shantae. This is another shorter book. This is a cowboy romance, and it is a Black cowboy romance. It only has 188 reviews on Goodreads, but they're all incredible. I think it's like a 4.5 or 4.3 star rating, like super high. And it only has 237 pages. I'm about to eat this up. I feel like so many people have been obsessed with like the Chestnut Springs series and like, you know, cowboy romances, but you do not often see diverse cowboy romances. At least it's hard to find. And I picked this up because I was literally looking for it. I was like, I want to read a cowboy romance, especially when it gets to be like summer and like, you know, the vibes. So this, I think, is part of a series. It's the first book, but I think that they like continue it on with other characters. And it just looks like it's really good. It says Oakland, Brim, and Sacred Monroe open up the series, and what for them begins as a fake relationship. We love fake dating, so I am excited to read this one. Again, it only has like 188 reviews. I also have Love Letter to Whiskey on here. I know. I've had it on my TBR a million and one times, but this is gonna be the month I read it, okay? This is going to be the month. She is thick. I get scared of thick books by authors I've never read from before. Why? I don't know. But I was watching Rosalie's video, and if you don't follow her, please go follow her. I am not kidding. When I found her account, I just like fell in love with her like positive attitude. She reads tons of diverse reads. She has the best reading blogs. But whenever I started following her account, I think she posts once a week. Yeah, that's not enough for me. So I went back and started rewatching all of her old vlogs. And like, I think I'm all the way back to like summer of 2023. I'm not even joking. Like, I love her vlogs so much. But she read this book and rated it 5 stars, and we have really similar taste, I think. Like, a lot of the stuff that she reads, I really enjoy. So I cannot wait to read this. I'm going to read it this month, and sometimes I just need a little nudge from someone to say like, oh my god, this book is so good, you have to read it. So if you guys have read this book, let me know. If you haven't, maybe we can like read it together this month. I don't know. It's a angsty story. I think it's about a girl who likes a guy, and maybe the guy likes a girl. I don't know. I just know it's like kind of toxic. So I'm in for a toxic, messy read. Like I'm in for toxic, messy reads. So really excited for this one. I will be reading it. I will. I'm gonna read it. I promise. Well, I can't promise, but I'm hoping to read it. Again, I'm such a mood reader that like the minute my mood changes, I'm on to something else. I just can't make myself pick up something that I don't want to read in the moment. But all these books are books I'm so excited to read. I also want to read Just Right by Sean. This will be my first Why Choose romance. I've never read a Why Choose romance. I do not know what it's about because on the back there's literally nothing. I guess I could read, is there something on the inside? Oh, this is a modern fairy tale retelling. Interesting, because it says that, yeah, it's a modern fairy tale retelling. It's also a slow burn with one of the MMC's friends with benefits to lovers. So yeah, I don't know what it's about. Like, it doesn't have anything on the back. There's like a little bit on the inside. It looks like a blurb, but it almost looks like it's a part of the book and not just like a synopsis. So I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it blind. I have read Untouchable by this author and really enjoyed it. I think this author does an incredible job of being like, just very like empowering of women. Like, the characters, I feel like, are very strong, very independent, and I love that. And again, this is by a Black author. And I also want to read Church Girl by Nayama Simone. This book just came out, and it says she's a preacher's daughter, a runaway bride, and now the not quite qualified nanny for a sexy tattoo artist with a beautiful daughter and a dirty mouth. What's a bad boy to do with a woman like her? This is supposed to be spicy. It's a Harlequin novel, so like obviously I feel like most Harlequin novels are spicy. So yeah, Runaway Bride, this sounds like mess. I don't know why I've been in the messy mood lately. Like, I just want to read messy books. Not all the time, but I think, like, because I have a stack of contemporary fiction, so we will go through those, but I feel like when I read a heavier contemporary fiction, after that I'm like, I just want mess. I want my brain to be empty. I want it to be full of fluff. Like, I want to feel like I'm watching reality TV when I read a romance. So this feels like it's gonna be that vibe. I also want to read Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren. This author duo is incredible. They've written one of my favorite books that I read every single year. It's called Love and Other Words, and they also wrote The Paradise Problem, which I also really loved. I read The Soulmate Equation by them and wasn't like obsessed with it, so I just, you know, we're gonna forget about that one. But I want to read this one, and this is, it says just friends, just friends, just friends. If they repeat it enough, maybe it'll be true. And I think it's like a friends to lovers story. So it looks super easy to read, kind of like the books that I feel like came out in like 2020 or 2021 when like everyone was getting back into reading. Like, I mean, the words are so big. It just looks like it's gonna be a super easy read. It almost looks like a young adult book, like the way that the words are. So I feel like I'll gobble this up in literally 2 seconds, and it's only 306 pages. I also am so excited to read this book, Beautiful Broken Love. And it's actually been on my TBR for like not that long because I just got it, but I have had to actually keep myself from reading this book. And it's because I want to read it in February. Like, it's pink, and I do know that it has like heavier topics in it, but I don't know why, but I just want to read some pink books in February. So I actually was trying to hold off, which you see, like, actually, so I have this pink book, and then I have this pink book, and then there's 3 more pink books in this stack. So there's a lot of pink books. I also saw this book on Rosalie's channel. She read it, and I've heard nothing but good things about this on TikTok, so I just feel like this is gonna be great. It says 2 loves, 1 lifetime. It's been months since her dreams of forever were brutally shattered. 7 long months since her husband and soulmate Lou died in her arms, leaving her to carry on alone. And Davina Klein Roberts still isn't sure how to move forward. To escape her anguish, Davina throws everything into work, pushing Golden Oil Co., her self-built skincare line, to become a viral success. Now she's poised to clinch a major endorsement deal too, but it's bittersweet without Lou by her side. A meeting with Deke Bishop, the hot NBA star she's courting for her brand, leaves Davina flustered. With his dimpled smile and warm handshake, Deke's a natural pitchman, and he's clearly interested not only in her lotions. Davina soon discovers that Deke's more than just another player and carries his own pain, but as her feelings for him grow, so does her guilt. Will the pain of a future already lost keep her from embracing hope for a new one? And this author writes thrillers. She writes, I think, sci-fi, and romance, and I think there's one more genre too. Like fantasy. So I just love that for her. She's also a Black author. This book just came out, like literally just came out. So I cannot wait to pick up that one. Another book I can't wait to pick up is The World Around Us by Lauren Lacey. This author knows how to write like a wild plot line, like a wild plot with like just tons of things, twists and turns, and I feel like this book is gonna be nothing less. I cannot wait to read it. This is also a sports romance. I did not realize how many sports romances I was picking up in this video, but I have so many, and this is another book that was literally just released, so I have read Love You Always by this author and rated this 4.5 out of 5 stars. Look how that is like just so well loved. And I was obsessed with it. So I feel like I'm gonna also love reading this book. I don't really know what it's about. It says on the back, it's a small town second chance sports romance that will keep you on the edge of your seat, on the brink of tears, overcome with laughter, and rooting for a love that refuses to fade. She just does love stories like a movie. Like, you'll literally feel like you're watching a movie when you're reading her book. So this one just came out. It is long. It's 445 pages, but I don't even care. Like, her books, I'm hooked from start to finish. I also cannot wait to read Summer in the City by Alex Astor. I got this as an ARC, and I've never read anything by this author, so I'm interested to read it. This is the author who I'm pretty sure wrote the Lightlark series. And this says, from lovers to enemies to lovers again, one summer, one wall apart, summer's always end, and so will this agreement. It's all pretend, promise. And this book does not come out until March. So yeah, it says it comes out 3/25. So yeah, really excited to read this. I definitely want to read this before March. I try to read any arcs that I get before they come out, but this just looked summery to me. And so I was like, I gotta wait at least until February because it's pink. It just looked like it would be perfect in February. So I want to read that one. Another book I want to read is Some Kind of Forever by Lena James. This is by a Black author, and this is a small town romance as well. I don't really know what this one's about, but it says summer vacation only lasts so long and life, like love, can be complicated. So it doesn't really say very much unless you like read the back of the, like the rest of the back of the book, but I do know this is small town romance. It's by a Black author, and I feel like that is something that I'm really wanting to read these days. Also, this does not have a ton of reviews. I want to look up just to see how many there are, because I feel like I just love showing you guys books that are not hyped up yet, so we can all hype them up for together. But this is also a series, so if you like series, this would be a great one to read. Yeah, this book has 47 ratings on Goodreads. That's it. Literally 47 ratings, and all of them are so good. It has a 4.43 star rating, and so many of you guys have read this and you have rated it like 5 stars, 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, 5 stars. Oh no, not 3 stars, 4 stars. There's so many great reviews on this book, so I'm really excited to read this one. Again, I will always hype up small authors because you just never know what is an incredible book, and I feel like sometimes people don't give smaller authors a chance, and they deserve it. So I also have one historical fiction, and it is this one right here. It's a Reformatory, which I also put on my TBR I think 2 months ago, never got to it. I was reading a lot of heavier books, and this book I know is very heavy. It's a horror about the Jim Crow South, and I just feel like I needed to give it the time that it deserved. I didn't want to like read 5 heavy books back to back and then maybe not be in the mood to read a heavier book, and then I just don't enjoy it or take it in the way that I want to. So this says it's a haunting work of historical fiction written as only American Book Award winning author could, by piecing together the life of the relative her family never spoke of, and bring his tragedy and those of so many others at the infamous Dozier School for Boys to light in this riveting novel. I have been really enjoying historical fiction. I just have had to definitely take one at a time. So I think adding 1 to my TBR instead of 5 at once is gonna be a lot better. In the past months, I've been adding 3 or 4, and I'm realizing that 1 a month is good because usually the historical fiction is a heavier story, and I think there's something about it just knowing that it's it happened. It just makes it even more heavy than a regular contemporary fiction would be, even if it's a story that I know happens to people. Let's say someone's mom dies in a book or something, but it's not a true story. There's something different just knowing that it's it happened and it's a real piece of history and time. I also have 4 books that are in the contemporary fiction section. Now, you guys know I have been on the hunt for books by Black authors to add into contemporary fiction. That's one area I'm still working on. I think I know romance backwards and forwards, historical fiction. I am also learning that, and I have tons and tons of recs and tons of books on my TBR. And I feel like I'm set, like, for the year with what I want to read in those genres. This is an area I'm still looking for. So if you guys have any contemporary fiction recs by Black authors, please let me know, because again, it's like an area that, like, since I just got into it last year, like late last year, I don't really know a ton of authors. But I really loved reading Blue Sisters by Coco Mellers. What else did I read? I feel like I've read so many great contemporary fiction books that I didn't want to put down. I read The Wedding People. But again, I want to add in diverse reads, and it's hard to find those because you don't see them talked about as often like any other genre. But because I know so many authors in the romance genre because I've been reading it for years, I feel very comfortable with like finding authors. And I also follow a lot of girls on like Book Talk and Bookstagram that share romance books, and they share diverse romance books, so it makes it easy for me to find things, versus with contemporary fiction, I don't know, I have to have lots of dialogue. I like to have the story have like a smidge of romance in it, and it's just hard for me to find exactly what I'm looking for when I don't know where to look. So I know that a lot of books I'm not going to find at Barnes & Noble. So I'd love for you guys to leave any recommendations. One rec that you guys gave was Sky Falling by Mia McKinsey. This is a diverse author, at least to my knowledge. I'm pretty sure one of you guys recommended it, and it is. And I'm really excited to read this one. I think it's about, well, I guess I could just read the back. I'll read part of it. It says, when she was 26 and broke, Sky didn't think twice before selling her eggs and happily pocketing the cash. Now approaching 40, Sky moves through life entirely and unrepentantly on her own terms, living out of a suitcase, avoiding all manner of serious relationships. And then a 12-year-old girl tracks Sky down during one of her brief visits at home in Philadelphia and informs Sky that she is her egg. So this looks like a wild ride, and I cannot wait to read it. I also want to read Eevee Drake Starts Here by Linda Holmes. This is a heartfelt story about the unlikely relationship between a young woman who's lost her husband and a major league pitcher who's lost his game. This one just looks so good, and I feel like books that are this size, I absolutely eat up. Like, I've been loving Annabelle Monaghan's books, and I think part of the reason is not just because her writing is incredible, but the book size, it hits. I don't know what it is. If I'm not reading a hardback, which you guys know is my favorite type of book to read, it's this specific size of a paperback. Like, it's floppy, like, I don't know what it is, but I love when a paperback is like this. I don't know. I eat it up. I just feel like I can finish these in like a day, and it's less than 300 pages. Like, I mean, come on, like it's an easy read. And I also am really excited to read The Girl He Used to Know by Tracy Garvis Graves. This is in the contemporary fiction section, but I do know that it is a romance. On the back it says, it's an addictive, hopelessly romantic novel about the power of fate and unconditional love. And I think that these two people dated in college, which they go to the University of Illinois, which is so cool because I live in Illinois. So I'm like, that is just the coolest thing ever. She's an English major, which I also was in college. And they, I think, date in college, and then something pulls them apart, and then I think they reconnect years later. He is a Wall Street whiz. He is recovering from a divorce, and he wants a fresh start. And I think it says that the attraction and strong feelings they once shared are instantly rekindled. So that just sounds good. It sounds good. Again, is that perfect size. This one is, again, under 300 pages. Like, I just am gonna eat up this book. So really excited to read this one. I think I put that on my TBR like 2 months ago. So hopefully I also pick that one up as well. And then a book that I'm so excited for is The Favorites. This book has been talked about so much. It just came out in January. And it says on the inside that it's a sexy, gut-wrenching book about two soulmates who dance around each other on and off the ice. A story as shimmering and lethal as figure skating itself. And that's all I'm gonna leave it at, because I just want to go into this pretty blind. I've heard that this is like a 5-star read from so many people. It's in the contemporary fiction section, which I'm finding is my favorite type of contemporary fiction, when it's like based on a love story, so it feels like a romance, but there's like so many other deeper themes. That I think is like my favorite type of contemporary fiction, or at least if there's like a very like heavy plot of like a romance in the book somewhere. This is also supposed to give like Daisy Jones and the Six vibes, because it is told as if the characters are being interviewed. So yeah, I cannot wait to read it. So many people have rated that book 5 stars, so I'm really excited to read that one. I think that my top 3, like the books I'm most excited to read, are probably these right here. The Favorites, The World Around Us, and Beautiful Broken Love. So I know for sure I'm gonna get to all 3 of those. I've been literally holding myself back from reading them because I wanna read them in February when it's like pink and cutesy and, you know, giving all the happy, fluffy vibes. So yeah, these are only 20 books that I wanna read. Let me know what you guys are wanting to read in the month of February, whether you're focusing on reading romance or you want to read something else. I would love to hear what is on your TBR. And I will see you guys on Saturday in the vlog. It is going to be super, super long, and it's going to be super fun. Like, I'm really excited for this one. So I hope you guys are excited too. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.